Hello everybody, this is Bill Vernon, your Keller Williams agent for the Central Texas area. I am what's called a rainmaker for the I-35 group of Keller Williams Lone Star. I just look so forward to talking to you next year about this very subject, which is what's going on in real estate in Temple, Texas. And I've been servicing the area for about 11 years now. And it's just phenomenal what is going on in our area in real estate. And I'm here to help you understand that. In fact, let's go with this part. Predictions for 2022. What are the real estate predictions Bill has for you in 2022? This is what I do. No predictions. I don't give predictions because in fact, we're going to kind of talk about 2019. If I was standing here in 2019, I would tell you, in fact, what's kind of interesting, in 2019, I was so assured about stuff. Now with COVID, with the government, politics, with lending, all predictions are off the table. But this is what I will add is it's obvious that we're going to have, they're telegraphing it to us, that we're going to increase interest rates. This will be putting pressure on real estate, and maybe we'll do some videos on what that looks like in more detail. What it looks like as interest rates increase. Another thing that's kind of very interesting is we're back to a board foot of lumber being a lot more expensive than it usually is, and so that was kind of interesting. And the supplies, especially when we're dealing with custom builds, it can take them almost a year before they see the windows they need for a custom house. That pressure is also on the big boys. Yes, D.R. Horton is going to be first in line, but if there's no shingles at the end of the line, it doesn't matter whether you're first or 31st, you're still not going to get any shingles. So that means that, and as we kind of talk about this, it's going to come a lot clearer why Bill is kind of talking about, hey, we're not going to see some massive supply. So here's what I'm going to predict. We're not going to have a crash in 2022. And you can go in there, 2022 housing crash, go real estate crash, go YouTube that, and you'll get video after video. And what I'm going to tell you is that's not true. Are we going to have a correction? And I believe we're in fact, we're in the middle of it. Right now, the market had a shift there, as we can talk about a little as we go through this. So let's get into the numbers part of this. I know some you're just get to the numbers, Bill. Get to the numbers. So here we go. November 2021, and you guys all know my baseball analogy. What's the sweet spot of the bat? Where do I hit it to get my home runs? That is in the 200 to 290, the 300 range. That's where 50% of the closings in the Temple area is at. And so that's the sweet spot. The next biggest is anything above 300 to 399. In other words, that 400 range. That's where 24%. So that's roughly where our market is there. And again, we can look at this. The medium price, your average price, let's just call it that. The average price is $264,326. It's up 32.2% year over year of November 20. Now, this one I'm also going to put out in front of you, and this is a statistic that's kind of interesting. Now, the Temple Killeen, I went back and looked at some past stuff, and they're actually lumped together. The Killeen Temple markets are lumped together. So this, if we were in Killeen, the price would be a little lower, and if we were in Waco, it'd be a little higher. But in December 2019, we were at 190. That was the average. So I want you to think about that. 2 years ago, the average was 190. We're at 264 now. You do the math. So if we have a correction of 10%, are you still making tons of money? You're making 22.2% over what you did last year. So you're still making some great money putting your house on the market. Active listings in November were down 33.7%. Now, our current active listings are at 76 in Temple. I don't have the Belton statistics right here. This is for the city of Temple. So we have 75. And we've talked about months on inventory, aka absorption rate, which is at 0.5. In other words, in 2 weeks, we'd be out of houses. We didn't have any, they'd all be sold. The average day on market is 68 days, which is pretty good. I find this interesting. Days on market is 21. My group will get you sold a lot quicker. And closing between when you went under contract to close are 47 days. So roughly, I want you to think about this. If you were thinking about putting your house on the market in April, you know what? That starts today, really. You need to think about that. So let's look at something else that's kind of interesting. And I looked for expireds, and I think that's going to be a metric that we're going to kind of start tracking from this point on, is what's going on with expireds, because and that's increasing. Now Temple, not too much. In Waco, it's crazy there how many they had just in 7 days. In fact, what I find interesting is in the last 7 days in Waco, they've had 9 expireds. For the last 6 months, or 180 days, in the Temple, we only had 5 expireds. So that's pretty cool. Again, it shows me the activity is still strong in Temple for sellers. Now, this is a little statistic, again, I want to kind of throw out there that I find very interesting. In 2019, again, these are Killeen Temple statistics. They're put in the same boat there. We had 1,244 listings out there in December of 2019. As of today, Killeen Temple have 247 listings. So it's not all gloom and doom if you're a seller. You know what I'm going to tell you is, and I get this asked, when is the best time for me to sell my property? And I always kind of go, now. And there's a lot of reasons why. But now I think it is definitely a time to get your house on the market. And I do see an explosion, of listings in the end of January. And we're seeing a lot of activity. And so I really think that if you're thinking about selling, this is time to get it on the market. Any questions that you may have, because after all, real estate is what? It's local, is to reach out to me in my email. I don't mind sending you what's going on in your subdivision. All you have to do is email me at bill@i35realty.com, and we'll get that information in front of you about your specific property's value. Because after all, don't you want to know, right now I can go check my Walmart stock on the computer that you don't see, but it's sitting right here. I can go check right now. Where can you do that with the most valuable and precious investment you got going on? That's your house. Think about how much net worth you got rolled up in that puppy. Don't you want to know what's going on with that and protect it? And the answer is, of course. So once you reach out to me, I don't mind talking to you about that very subject. I look forward to next month's update. And if you have any questions about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, you reach out to the I-35 group. Bye now.